All right, here we go. That's solid, guys. That is solid stuff right there. All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to my desk where there's actually a lot going on today. Several computers here, which there normally isn't. It's normally just this one with my extra monitor I'm using. But I won't go into that right now. That might be a separate video if we're gonna geek out on the desk tour. But today we're going to be talking about the tune that I'm going to be installing on my E39 M5 from BPM Sport. All right, so how it works is you go to their website and it tells you, all the information about it. What happens is you get to put in your car, United States, and then your year and your VIN, and then you get to pretty much customize exactly what you want on this tune. So this tune is not only customized for your VIN, but it's also customized for you. There's a few options that you can choose from. A bunch of them are listed here, and then you add it to the cart. He sends you this, which has a cable, and then he also sends you a program which you have to use the software, download it on a Windows computer, which this is an older laptop that I pretty much don't really use anymore except for miscellaneous items like this. So this is running Windows 7, so that's why we have it. And then if you guys are curious, these are the specs that I picked. I tuned it for 93 octane. And of course that includes the reprogrammed ignition, timing optimization, fuel quality, etc. So just doing 93 with that is actually really nice. Reprogrammed throttle response as well as the throttle response in sport mode. I actually left those unchanged because I think the sport mode, it's fine. It's more sensitive, and if it's overly sensitive, it's kind of hard to drive. So for now, this is also unchanged for regular mode, just because if I want it in regular mode, I'm kind of meandering or walking, just kind of driving around. I don't really need it to be very sensitive. Variable RPM as well as, this is kind of key, RPM is limited on engine temp as opposed to whatever it's based on now. I think it kind of warms up pretty quickly, but this pretty much makes those little lights in the dash move that much slower, which means you pretty much have a longer warm-up time, which that's key in a car like this. Raise top speed, of course, we always want to do that, and raise the RPM limit to 7,000, which is kind of silly, but whatever. I just figured I'd increase it a little bit. Stage 2, I would normally say yes, but I have stock exhaust and everything, so for now we have to do stage 1. If we did stage 2, we would get a decent more power, but for now that's all that there is. All right, so going back to our Windows computer, all we have to do, here's the email he sent me. And then you just have to click here, and here is the manual. And all of them are very similar. The E39 is actually not even on this page, but it's the same process besides like one step. So I'm going to show you that right now. All right, so we got our cable ready. I haven't plugged it in yet, but I'm going to follow the instructions here. Click on this, which will then give you a program to install. I'm going to click that so it runs right away. Gonna run. So we're just downloading the latest software. Already exists, you want to install it. So this was from my M3. I have things I downloaded, but I want to make sure it's for the M5 and it's also the most recent software and everything. So we're going to do that. We will do both. Install. I'm just going to follow the wizard. Alright, so now we are at this step number 17 already. Goes pretty quick, guys. We're going to go down to, so what I'm going to do is go outside because we're going to have to plug this into the car. Okay guys, so we are in the M5. It's hooked up to a trickle charger. And we are going to go to, I skipped ahead a little bit. We're going to go and read the ECU. So, going to close this, run BPM flash. Of course we agree. So this first step is actually reading it. So this tells you the computer is good to tune the car. So make sure USB cable is plugged into the PC. It cannot be plugged in through a USB hub. So there we go. Whoops. Alright, so there we go. And I'm going to put this here because I think it'll illuminate. Oh, yep, there's a green light lit, so that's good. Alright, so what we have to do is make sure your hardware is connected to the PC. So turn the ignition to on and plug this little guy into the OBD2 port. Behind the scenes, I'm going to put car into the on position, which is 2 clicks. So there we go. I think we are supposed to see the service engine soon light, so that is actually on right now, and I have the hood up because I have it trickle charged just in case. Alright, hopefully you guys can see that. So it's plugged into the car, it's plugged into the computer, and the car is on. Well, the car is not on, but alright, cool. So far, clicking on the next button will code your hardware device, blah 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 blah. Alright, so next step is to click read ECU memory. And what we're going to do here for the E39 M5 is calibration data only. And click OK. And we'll just put this on the desktop, the default spot, because I'm not really too worried about it. Okay, so what we've done there is just read the ECU and saved the ECU file. So what we did is, in case something goes wrong, we have a backup ECU file saved on my computer, and if I do screw something up, I'll probably have to ask Mike from BPM. So I'm pretty sure, like, these are the default read files, date modified 126, which is today at 11. So these are both of the stock files. We don't need to do anything with them, but that's like a just in case. And we're going to go through the same exact steps. We're also going to click next. All right, so next. So we're also going to do read ECU memory, full program and calibration data. Click OK. We're going to use the desktop again. And this might take a little while, so we're going to come back. I'm going to put the computer down and see how long this takes. It says 40 to 70 minutes. So I have on my phone the little instruction manual that I had on the computer earlier. It says 40 to 70 minutes right there. So do not interrupt the process. Do not change anything. New window will display that ECU has been successfully read. Alright, back for another day. This is the step where we're actually going to be installing the tune. So here's all of my information. BPM will send you the file to actually tune the car. So we just click through, very, very simple. And we will actually be going to program ECU memory. So we can see that that is the name of the file. So here's a confirmation of everything. Stage 1, obviously manual transmission. I'm turning the rev limiter on and keeping the cold start on. And we're tuning it for 93. So this step's taken about 2-3 minutes. Definitely recommend a trickle charger just in case, because you do have the ignition on. You know, the ignition is on and the vehicle is on, so definitely be careful about that. You don't want a dead battery in the middle of this thing. Okay, it says switch ignition in the off position. Okay. So ignition is off. ECU has been successfully programmed. And there's a smiley face. Okay guys, so we're about to go for a drive, but before we do that, I just want to address tuning a car and tuning this car. I worked very closely with Mike from BPM, and I definitely recommend hitting him up if you're interested in a tune, whether it's an E39, an E92, or a 335 or any car. Just go to their website. and it'll have all the information there. If you could do like a stage 2 and you have like a car that has turbos and stuff, I mean, it's going to be a pretty big difference. He told me that he did a conservative tune for this car, like a mild tune. There's no reason to try to spitfire or do anything crazy. So I just kind of want to address that. It's just changing a little bit of the timing, you know, the air to fuel, stuff like that. It's specifically tuning it for 93 octane, which will get you a little bit more horsepower. You know, obviously with a naturally aspirated V8, you're not really going to be taking it to a crazy different level by just tuning it. That's really just turning a few dials here, unless you put a supercharger on or something, you know, kind of crazy like that. So that wraps it up. The tunes are pretty expensive. This one runs about $1,000. You know, like I mentioned, I have been working with Mike closely, so send him an email. I'll put the email in the description of this video. Tell him Brandon with you know, the carbon black E39, the M3 or whatever, sent you, and you know, ask him whatever questions you have. He's very responsive, and you know, there isn't necessarily a promo going on, but if you ask him, you know, Brandon recommended me, and you have a couple people that are interested in a tune, I know a lot of times he's willing to do a discount there. I don't want to speak for him, and I don't want to promise any discounts. But he will be able to at least hook you up and let you know what you should expect. So let's get in this car and take it for a spin and see if I can tell the difference. I don't know, I'm interested to see if I can tell. Okay, fast forward to pushing the car outside and starting. Great right now, it's fully warmed up and it's feeling really solid. I like the steering so far. I'm actually gonna hit the sport mode button. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm gonna hit the sport mode, so this is gonna be from a stop. I'll be able to sort of tell how sensitive the throttle is, because I was definitely annoyed when I was putting in sport mode. It was super annoying. So the tune, with those little changes combined with the short shift kit, the shift knob, as well as the clutch and flywheel, this thing is like transformed. So let's wait for this light to change, and I'll give you a little update on what my thoughts are. Alright, so acceleration from a stop seems probably a little bit better. We're going to go 4 lane. So we're in second gear at 38, almost 4,000 RPM. I'm going to give it the beans, guys. Oh, traction. We don't want traction. Wow. That pulls pretty good, guys. I will say that. I get nervous in Florida driving like this because people are retarded. So, wow, that actually feels good. It definitely pulls. There is absolutely no hesitation. We're gonna get over here, and wow. Sorry, I'm kind of at a loss for words right now. The car feels really good. So far, the car feels really good. All right, here we go. That's solid, guys. That is solid stuff right there. I was a little easier from one shift to the other just because I have traction on, and as soon as you dump the clutch, it just totally cuts power, so that's not any good. Alright. Oh yeah, the steering feels nice. Second gear, we'll do a second gear pull. Let's do a 4,000. 40 miles an hour, 4,000. Feels like the M3. It's kind of like a freight train. But also, you know, it's the dynamics of the car. You know, you have a new M5 that's like over 600 horsepower. You know, that car is night and day, much quicker than this thing. But this definitely has that feel. And go down to 4th, go around these people. You know, unfortunately, it still has some body roll to it, which is suspension that I can always work on. But this is really, really good. If you guys are interested, definitely hit up BPM. He can legit like customize every single tune. if you want the throttle, you know, 5% less sensitive, or 6%, or 8%, or you want it more sensitive in certain settings, you can definitely do that. So let's go off of the sport mode. We can go back to, yeah, that's the second gear downshift. That's pretty good. And of course I can't really do much. That's feels like the torque comes on a little bit quicker, but that could just be in my head. We've got a sheriff here, so we don't want to be whipping through here. It's kind of amazing how just a few little tweaks and changes, especially like a throttle response change or, you know, a steering change, it really honestly transforms the car. The M5 is a great car, just totally stock, but you know, you have this shifter that's super long, and you know, if you have an older car, you know, maybe it needs a clutch or suspension or whatever, you get those things kind of dialed back in, and it really makes it, wow, that is, all right, so we're gonna go, yeah, see, it's cutting power because of the gear change. Downshifts are more confidence inspiring, I'll say that. I don't know if it's just me, if I'm driving like a hooligan right now. Yeah, no, it feels good. It really feels good, guys. All right, guys, so while I'm sitting at the light, I'm gonna wrap up the video. Super solid tune on this car. It's of course a mild tune. I love it. So go hit up BPM Sport. I know I probably said that like 20 times, but I'm clearly sold myself, and I think that's really the most important thing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously the M5, like I said, is a great car, but you do a few tweaks here and there, and it really makes it, especially on a daily basis and driving this car almost daily, it really makes it great. So thank you guys again for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. And we're gonna observe a little car issue up here, or should I say boat issue, only in Florida, guys. Not because it's a boat, but looks like we're missing a few wheels there. It's kind of a problem.